Magic is the understanding of human behavior and the assumptions that we make, And it is the goal of the magician to get you to follow particular assumptions which lead you away from the secret of the trick. And that is what is called misdirection. Now, I believe that principle happens in our lives and happens in business every day. Every day. You see, we are under tremendous pressure. Tremendous pressure. Change is happening faster than we would like. The economy is moving in a direction that we don't like. The way we live and conduct our lives, the number of opportunities or responsibilities we have with the number or the less number of people doing it for us or working with us, all increases the pace at which we operate. And in order to compensate for that, what we do is we utilize our assumptions. And the trouble we get ourselves into is that we begin to treat our assumptions as a set of truths rather than a set of beliefs. And it happens to the best, it happens to the brightest, it happens to the most successful companies in the world. IBM, when they first launched into the computer business, they made the assumption that the future of the business was the hardware division, the PC, the one on the desk. And so what did they do? They basically delegated the software responsibility to a young gentleman named Bill Gates, who formed Microsoft, who in less than 5 years was larger than IBM itself. AT&T almost went out of business because AT&T was used to the telephone. And so they assumed, when the cellular business came about, they assumed that cellular was always a localized business. And during the divestiture, they actually had the opportunity to buy the major cellular distribution broadband networks, and they turned it down based on that assumption. It happens to us every day. This fall, I said to my wife, I live in the New York State area, and I said, I want to take off a day, and let's go out of town, and let's enjoy the fall, because the fall in the Northeast is absolutely spectacular. So we go up there, and we're up there, and we pull into this state park. It's a state park. We pull into this wonderful little parking lot. We park our car, and we go for the hike. And we're really having a wonderful time. It was really great. The air was crisp and clean. The colors were magnificent. We were just walking down these paths and talking, having a really wonderful time, and all the kind of anxiety was kind of flowing out of us, and we felt very rejuvenated. And we didn't want to turn around, but it was really getting dark. So we turned around, and by the time we got back to the car, it was dark. It was dark out. And so we get in the car and we said, hey, we'll just go out to eat right now. We're having such a great time. Let's go to this restaurant nearby and we'll have a great time. And as we pull out of the parking lot, just as we get to the entrance or the exit, there's a big chain. And I stop the car and I look at my wife and she looks at me and it was like, oh, darn, what do we do? We're locked in a national park. What do you do? What's the protocol? Who do you call? And they're getting all upset, and I'm really now getting aggravated. And I said, you know what? Forget it. There's 2 posts and a chain, and there's a little hill. And I said, Deborah, I'm just riding the car up on the hill, and we're going to go around the post. And I start to go, and she stops me and says, you're crazy. And I said, why? She said, because you're going to destroy the undercarriage of the car. And then I got angry at her, and we got into a big fight, and she was absolutely right. She was right. And so I pulled back, and we're sitting in front, and we're trying to figure out what to do, maybe call, and I noticed all that wonderful feeling, all of that great, that spontaneity, all of that anxiety that was dissipated was now kind of filling us up. And it was just ruining the day. And so all of a sudden, Deborah said, Andy, I don't see a lock on that chain. And so I walked outside, and I walk outside, and I go up to the chain, and sure enough, it was basically just a chain. They 2 posts, and they just ran a chain across and just, secured it on the other side. So I took the chain and took it off the post and put it over here and got back into the car. And as I get back into the car, right on the windshield wiper is a big white sheet of paper saying, if you leave after 5 o'clock, the park will be closed. Just unchain the little link, and you can get out. So we treat our assumptions as truths more than we would like to do. Now, we could talk about this scenario and have you look and explore all the time you make assumptions to treat a truth, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about thinking differently. And I believe the fastest way to think differently, the fastest way to create, is to acknowledge the assumptions that we make and then challenge them. And then challenge them. I call it following the other hand.